Hi guys. Hi. I'm back. Today I have a different video for you. This is another voiceover, but this time I'm wrapping some Christmas presents. So these are all Christmas presents for my mother. I'll talk about them as we go along, but first I do want to say, if you watched last week's video, I mentioned I might have a surprise. I hope that you can tell a difference. But the surprise is I have a mic. Yay! That's why I'm whispering. I really couldn't whisper using the built-in mic on my phone because I'd have to get my face super close to it. But right now, I don't have to do that. But here you can just see I'm not using any audio from the video itself because it was very noisy. Everyone was home. This was over the weekend during dinner time. Everyone else was eating, and I snuck downstairs to wrap these presents. The first thing I'm wrapping for my mother is a nail polish set from Ella and Mila. She has had her eye on that specific colored set of those light pinks for pretty much the entire year. So I decided that was going to be the first thing that I bought, and it was. I bought that back in like early November. They put on a pre-Thanksgiving, pre-Black Friday sale. And I said, yep, I don't even have to think about it. So, all the paper that I am using to wrap these are scraps. I did not bring down any rolls of paper, except for two. One is because it's a very large box, and I knew no scraps were gonna work for that. I knew I needed a roll. And then I ended up going back upstairs because this is filmed in the basement. I went back upstairs to get a roll of paper, and that was just because I really wanted to use that specific color, and you'll see that in just a minute or two here. So one of these scraps that I used is this dark green, where it says "'Tis the season" in these wreaths. I just think it's really elegant and pretty. So there is a similar paper in red that I wanted to use for these. This is a base coat and a top coat, both from Ella and Mila as well. However, you will see in a minute here, it does not work out. I do not have the scraps for this. I wanted it to be a sounds video, but so I kept crumpling paper and things, but it was not working out. There's just too much going on in the house. But that's what happens when you live with other people and you try to do things during the day. Because this was, I believe, on a Sunday, so I couldn't stay up super late. This is the scrap I'm talking about that just does not work out. I want to use this paper desperately, and it's just not working out. But it is a dark red plaid, and I just thought it would go so well with the green because the theme this year, and we usually don't theme or wrapping paper or anything. This is the first year we're trying it. But typically we just use whatever paper we have on hand. And that's the point where I give up because I don't have any scraps in the red. But this year, my mom found this blue and silver set of wrapping paper and fell in love with it. So we're doing that. But with the exception of that really elegant green and a really elegant red, just sprinkled in. So next up is a new set of dishes. These are by Corel. They are extra strength because we need that in this household. It's up to 80% recycled glass material. Of course, that means it could be 0%, but you know, you get what you get, I guess. And welcome to America. Um, it's kind of florally, but it's all like dark grays and light grays, which match her kitchen. So this, I'm definitely making this into a short because this part here, because I tried so hard. I was so optimistic about how big this wrapping paper was. I was like, yeah, this is gonna fit this very large box. You can see me kind of measuring it out and like bargaining. Like, yeah, I can do that. I've been wrapping presents my entire life. I'm really good at it. Yeah, that's totally enough. And that's where I said, maybe. Don't worry though, because you'll see me cut this and then have to discard it. But I don't throw it away. It gets put into the scrap pile and reused for something else. As a matter of fact, I was wrapping some more gifts that just came in tonight. So several days after I filmed this, and that scrap was already gone because it had been used by someone else wrapping presents. And here we go. And you can see just the life go out of me because I thought for sure that was going to work. I did not like measure, and I really tried to convince myself that I can make this work, even though it's a square box. I really just did not want to have to cut more paper because it's such a hassle to do with this setup on this table and trying to keep most of me out of this frame. And I know the camera angle's really weird. I'm doing my best. Unfortunately, the phone stand I love it to death, but it does not allow me to turn my phone horizontally to take videos. So, because it's missing that extra rotation, it just doesn't work out for some videos like this one. That's why even the videos in my car look a little wonky. I did not realize that when I bought it, that it would not do what I wanted it to do. So here's attempt number 2 for wrapping the Corelle dishes. And once again, there will be some leftover scraps here, but that will get used as well. We have plenty of stuff to wrap still. My brother has not wrapped any of his gifts. My dad has not done any wrapping yet, and my mom got a few more things for some other people. So there's still plenty of things to wrap that we will be using. Stuff like this. This snowman paper is a dark blue, and we've actually had it for years, so I wanted to use that to kind of change up, I guess, the patterns from the like 4 tubes that my mom bought, but still match the color scheme, keeping it the dark blues and the silver. That's just the theme this year, I guess. That's just what we're feeling. So I would love to change to like butcher paper or something like that, but I mean, in reality, it's not going to be much better because the paper that we always use it to every last piece, every time. We honestly, out of everything that we do in this house, the thing that has the most minimal waste is definitely wrapping paper at Christmas time. Which is interesting, but that's just how we are. But we've been through tough times, and my parents have grown up in tough times, so like we're very scrappy anyway. But definitely when it comes to wrapping paper, we use every last inch that we can in any way, shape, or form. I think I had a point to saying that. Oh yes, this is sustainability wise, I would love to use like butcher paper to wrap presents. I think that it would be very pretty, but the fact of the matter is, where I live, we do not have recycling. I live in the South. Apparently, climate change doesn't exist to these people. So we don't even have recycling to recycle this paper if we wanted to. Our next present is a set of Anchor fast chargers, lightning chargers. I have one and I let her borrow it once and she fell in love with it. Her phone is almost always on. She's using it for something or another and it dies so quickly. It's dead by the time she gets home from work. So instead of leaving it on a slow charger in case she has to go out or something like that, or when they come home on like a Friday and decide that they want to go out for dinner, all she has to do is plug her phone into one of these chargers while she's getting ready, changing clothes, doing her hair and makeup, and then by the time she's ready to walk out the door, the phone will be at 100%. So I tried to use that little scrap and it was just barely short. So I went back to the scrap box, and that's another reason I'm not using the audio, is the sound of me rummaging through the scrap box is obnoxious. So instead of using that light blue and white striped paper, I'm going with this darker blue with the white words that says "Merry Everything." This paper, as well as the paper I just dried, came in that set of 4 that I was talking about. That just like set the theme for the year, or the holiday season this year, I mean. But they're just classy and grown up, and we've not usually done stuff like that, but we typically keep Christmas. We want the holidays to look like joy, just like throw up everywhere. And that's my mentality with it, is the holidays should look like joy has just thrown up everywhere. It should be cluttered and bright and colorful and glittery and shiny. And that's just my mentality of it. But another part of me really loves those clean Christmas looks where all the wrapping paper is the same color or the same color scheme, and the bows are all the same, and there's candles everywhere, and the tree is like all one color. So I don't know, I swing back and forth between these thoughts. This is a like head massager, like hair massager. It's made of silicone and it's meant to be used when you shampoo your hair. I come from rugged stock, and so do my parents. Recently, my parents decided they were going to start laying concrete and doing a sidewalk. I knew that scrap wouldn't fit, but I tried it anyway. And I did help them one weekend to do the sidewalk, and you will have concrete dust in your hair because we did it all ourselves. We mixed the concrete ourselves. You will have concrete dust in your hair and in your lungs if you do not cover yourself properly. So I wore a mask and a bandana entirely over my hair, and yet my hair still smelled like concrete, which smells kind of like sulfur when you get it wet. But my mother did not, and my dad did not, and they both complained to me later about how they were making concrete in their hair. So I had used my own like scalp massager thing in the shower after I laid concrete, and it helped tremendously. So, and besides, lot of swallowing, like, in your ear. And I know some people like that, but I typically don't. But, like, you let me know what you think. It's late at night right now, and I've already had a shower, and I'm ready for bed. So, oh yes, the self-tanning water. It's like that self-tanning mousse that we've been seeing for years, or like lotion, only it's way lighter on the skin, and my mother loves to be tan, but does not like the, skin cancer that can come along with it. So I saw this at a Sephora and decided to try it. Thought maybe she'd be interested. So I had to get creative with the wrapping though, because how do you wrap a spray bottle without making it look like a spray bottle and without using a box? But do let me know what you think about the mic and the whispering and everything like that. I just wanted to give it a try. But I had been saying that I had my shower for the evening and I'm ready for bed as I'm doing this voiceover. So I've already brushed my teeth. So, like, just a few minutes before I started recording, I brushed my teeth. So that is why I am, like, constantly, like, licking my lips and making a swallowing noise in your ear. I'm so sorry. That's just how I am. I was so satisfied with how this looked, and then, like, after I finished it, I was like, that looks ridiculous, but I wasn't gonna change it, so. In here, I'm sizing up what color ribbon I want to use. I picked out this set of ribbon at Target. I picked up a second set as well of slightly different colors, as well as a bag of bows. Oh, the paper had been picked up separately, however. I would like to point out, though, we, along with using up every single scrap of paper, we reuse bows. We have a box, like a Rubbermaid tote, that is just bows. Like Christmas bows to be used, like Christmas and birthday and stuff like that. We reuse them every year. There are bows in that box that are probably older than I am, and I just turned 25 on Monday. I have survived a quarter of a century, and there are bows in that box that are older than I am, most definitely. So we only bought new ones this year so that they, like, matched the paper that we bought this year. Typically we have very, like, childish colored, like, really brightly colored, like, kitty decorations, like animals and Santas and things like that, as our wrapping papers, because typically we wrap gifts for children, for charity, for other people's children, like our friends' children and things like that, and then we just use it too. So this is the first year we actually bought paper to use just for us, and we're still using some of that kitty paper as well on our own, like our just for us gifts, but for the most part we are using this silver and blue paper. So I bought bows and ribbons to go with it, only because we only have various different colored ribbons and bows, golds and reds, greens, even pinks and purples, but not a ton of blue and silver. So when Mom and I got together, that's what we decided. This might look a little morbid, but don't worry about it. grandmother's maiden name and think, what was the name of the street you grew up on, kind of thing. That way it's all in one place, so that, God forbid, but if anything happened to them, suddenly I would have access to all that information very easily. What to do about insurance, how to log into their email accounts to get access to their stuff. So I do recommend, like, at any age, but especially if you have children or other assets, like a house of your own or a car of your own that is not in anyone else's name, I do recommend having at least something like this, because as long as it's, signed by an attorney, I'm pretty sure it all counts as a will, or at the very least could give your next of kin or a loved one an idea of what to do to figure things out for you. The paper was not working out for me. It just did not want to wrap nicely without any wrinkles, and you can see I just gave up. So sorry for that kind of downing conversation there. But hopefully by this point you're just asleep anyway. If you're not, then I definitely apologize for this downer of a conversation. And I guess it's not necessarily a downer. It's just being very realistic. Like, probably too realistic for an ASMR video, but I like being honest. I am an honest person, and I do think that preparing for the worst and hoping for the best is the way to go through life. What I don't end up filming is me putting bows and tags on all of these. M-O-M. I did bow and tag all of them, and some even got ribbons. But I did not end up filming that, and that was because even though I had all of the bows, ribbons, and tags downstairs with me, there's the red paper. It has a bunch of different things written on it. So I just cut a strip out of it to use on those two nail polishes, the base coat and the top coat, and then I actually just used the remaining scrap of paper tonight on a different present for somebody else. But it's really cute, holly jolly and Santa Claus and things like that. It's just really, it's classy, I guess. And I think I screwed it up again this way too, so I was glad I had this set aside. I got cocky, and instead of measuring, I was like, yeah, I know how big this is. It's honestly, it's always the small gifts, man. It is always the small gifts that I'm like, just overestimating my ability. Like, trying my best here. And you can see me just break down. Because it's the last one. I just went all the way upstairs to get that roll of paper, cut off more paper, and now here I am. Losing my mind. But I would, if they weren't so scattered under the tree, I would take pictures of everything, but nah. There's a ton of stuff under the tree for other people who aren't even in our family. If I just like actually put in the time to measure, it would work out fine. But I was kind of hurrying in this last minute here, because I could hear the people upstairs getting done with their dinner, and I did not want Mom to come downstairs and see any of her presents, even though they're pretty much wrapped at this point. I did not want to give anything away on accident, like the shipping boxes that they came in and stuff, which are off camera, but would have been visible to her. So I'm pretty sure I've only got 27 minutes, so I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you know what you all do for the holiday season. What do you celebrate? If you're